Well, you were talking before about the Living Infinite, and after 8 albums, you decide with this ninth album to do a double
Yeah.
album, right? I read somewhere that you took that decision because as Peter was out of the band and Peter was the main composer, you want to prove yourself that that you could compose as well, as
Yeah.
good as him. So, is this true?
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it. I think because it was a matter of we were feeling pretty frustrated because Peter quit after stabbing the drama for the first time, and then
Yeah.
he was not part of Sworn to Great Divide, and then he rejoined the band for Panic Broadcast, and then having him jumping off the band again, we felt frustrated, and I think it also ignited something within the band because we knew we had other great songwriters in the band, and I mean we've all been able to write songs, all of us in the band before, but we felt like we need to do something, step it up, and do something more, even more creative, and something bigger and more challenging to strengthen the band and really prove to ourselves, especially, and also the listeners, the fans, that we can really create interesting music that sounds like soul work, whether Peter is in the band or if he isn't.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So, Peter out, David Anderson in.
Yeah.
So, he's been for some time now with the band. How does he feel melting with you guys? How's the relation? Is merely professional or he's one more in the family?
Yeah, he's definitely one with the family, and I think he's has some really great social skills. And I feel that when he came into the band, he kind of united us all. We started hanging out again, on tour. We used to be drinking, separate because we've been so many years on the road, and you tend to stick to yourself, after
Yeah.
a while. And when he came into the band, we kind of became like a unit again, and we actually started, talking together more, being more social, and we started drinking together again, and not separately. And I think that's a great sign. And he has really grown to be one of my absolute best friends. We not only hang out when we're with the band, we also hang out in our spare time when we're off tour because we enjoy each other's company. We enjoy to he's a really great chef, and I'm a decent chef as well. So we like to cook together and have a couple of drinks, and we share a big a common love for a lot of the classic rock elements as well. The late '70s and early '80s, and that's why we started the band, the Night Flight Orchestra, as well, together. So he has given me a lot of inspiration, and I think to everyone else in the band as well, because he came in with fresh new blood, and he's a really great songwriter as well. He's slightly different from Peter, and he writes in a very Scandinavian way, which I think that's one of those things that I've been missing, and I think everybody else in the band as well, to have some of those more Scandinavian elements in our music. And Peter developed into a more of a American sound, which is fine. He was a great songwriter, but we also felt that we wanted to have some of those more Scandinavian elements, the melancholic feel that we had in the beginning of our career, and bring that back. And I think that Dave also brought that with him.
Great. It sounds like David was some kind of savior, right? For that
Yes,
work.
yes, I really feel he was. I mean, not saying that we would have quit if David didn't come in, but he sure made it more like he was the perfect fit for the band.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, the 10th album is near. You released last month. Well, you confirmed last month that you've been working with some new albums. So, what else can you tell us about it?
Well, we actually entered the studio today.
Today.
Today, yes. I'm not in the studio right now, but Dirk has started to lay down some of the drums already, and I will go up to the studio, which is in Stockholm. I will go there on Thursday, and the album is getting produced by Jens Bogren.
Yes. So you've been working with him lately on Last Hour Weekends.
Yeah, the last two albums, yeah, Living Infinite and Panic Broadcast, and he's a fantastic producer, and he has a very good ear for what we want to do with our sound. So I think it's a perfect fit for sure.
Great. For this new album, you're also doing a deal with Testament's Chuck Billy Management.
Yeah.
How that came about?
Well, I've known Chuck Billy for quite some time now, and I even attended his 45th birthday a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
which was really really fantastic. It was an amazing time, and so I know him pretty well, and we've known the Testament guys ever since we played here in Helsingborg and opened up for them, and that's how they became a little bit of. They really liked our sound back then, and so they've been following us in our career, and so he approached me about it, and he also told me that both Johnny Zazula and Marcia Zazula they're involved, and also Metal
yeah,
Maria Ferrero, who was with Metallica, and they started Megaforce back in the day. Some really really big names. So it's definitely a dream coming true, and I think it's exactly what we need. People with loads of experience, and also somebody who's representing the artists. Being Chuck Billy, who knows how it is to be on the road.
exactly,
It's
exactly. Well, just one last question. With 9 albums, lineup changes, and so many years and so many different experiences in this industry, what is the most important lesson that music has taught you so far?
wow, good question. Well, I'm trying to think of something that nobody has mentioned, or like most people would tell you, to watch your back, and stay on top of your finances, and don't get fooled by managers. And I mean, all of that has happened to us, so that's obviously one thing that you need to watch out for. But I'm trying to to not be scared to develop your sound. Even if you manage to get a record deal, and you actually manage to get like a big fan base, don't get too comfortable. I always try to push yourself, and don't be afraid to develop your sound. And I think we're a living proof for that. That we've had a very solid fan base, and that's been developing with our sound, and they've been accepting that. They just because we had a hit with Natural Born Chaos didn't mean that we were going to make another album sounding like that. We developed after that as well. And in a way, I guess that could have been easier.
Yeah,
But I think for us, it's been very important to to develop our sound, and I think that's a part of us. What we do, to be creative and always shock ourselves and the listener, but you can still hear all those small details in there, like the trademarks that we have. You can always recognize our sound, but there's always surprises, and I think that's why we've been able to stick around for this long as well. That we've been able to keep it interesting.
exactly. Well, I
Yeah.
totally agree with you because the same thing happens to other bands there. For
Mm.
example, your friends in Flames.
Yeah.
It's the same. They change their sound. People were expecting they release the same album over and over again, but
Yeah.
anyways, they gain a new fan base with their new sound. And
Yeah, and
that's
that has nothing to do with, people might think that that's sellout, that it's
yeah,
all about attracting new fans and cross over to mainstream or whatever, but it's not always true, because it's when you've been in this thing for this business for that long, you need to keep it interesting, and you want to keep on challenging yourself, and I think that's really the main goal for most bands.